Hey guys, welcome to my review of Tenet, and huh, that's weird. Why did it just kind of open by itself? Alright, that's what all about. But anyway, I saw Tenet, I saw it at a drive-in. It was the closest thing I could go see it because all theaters are open. They're very far. But I finally got around to seeing it, and yeah, this movie is, well, fuck me, I actually liked it a lot. I'm gonna start off with the positives because honestly, that's all I have to say. I just have so many positive things about this movie. First things first, Nolan, man, I mean, there's a lot of set pieces, a lot of action set pieces that involve inversing time, and it's just wow. Only Nolan could pull it off in this way. The way he like creates these rules, these elements when it comes to inversing, like the side effects that happens when you do inverse. Also, it's just the way he pulls off this one scene and this light and this heavy reddish bluish color light scene. I don't want to give too much away, but specifically does in that scene is the biggest highlight of inversing to me. There are some action scenes, but that scene in particular, I was like, holy fuck. Yep, this is amazing. This is a Nolan movie, all right. Everyone in this movie, John David Washington, Elizabeth Debicki, Robert Pattinson, Kenneth Branagh, they all acted pretty well. There's not really one performance that was off. I know people were saying Kenneth Branagh was a little cartoonish over the top. I thought he played, Nolan villain pretty well. I do think he could have been played by anyone, but I am glad it was played by Kenneth Branagh because, I mean, you can tell he kind of had fun with the role. I don't know if that's a bad thing considering a lot of people take Nolan very seriously and don't like this movie being fun. But yeah, I thought he played this role really well. He looks like he was having a blast time. John David Washington, after seeing this, I'm like, yeah, he could be Bond one day. I know it's weird because Bond is British, but I mean, if he to ever fake an accent, I'm all for that. As John David Washington as Bond. And Mr. Fantastic. Just throwing that out there too. Robert Pattinson, though, I mean, he really stole the show a bunch of times. I mean, he might be my favorite character in this movie. He doesn't really have, like, an arc, and he's a supporting character, but there's a lot of interesting tidbits in this movie that you get off him. Not necessarily when he says things, just like the little things he does. And I really appreciate that a lot. Elizabeth Debicki, she's the most emotional in this movie, which is a positive, obviously. And also, it might be the most emotional character, aside from Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar, in any of Nolan's films. Because, not light spoiler alert, but like, in the trailers, we see that she's a mom, and that plays into this in this movie. So when we dive into her character and her aspect of like what's going on in this plot / movie, you understand for her and you care about her. Again, another thing I want to highlight is inversing. The first few minutes we hear of it, you're like you at first you think, am I missing something? But as time goes on, it's like no, I'm like oh, okay, no, it's just something I had to roll with. Which was done pretty well. I mean, it could have been one of those confusing things like, huh? What? Wait, that doesn't make sense. But this movie, like, slowly gets to inversing, or at least the idea of inversing in a way that I haven't seen in, like, big sci-fi movies where just, like, this outlandish idea that's mainly placed for the plot. Movies are either, like, heavily dumped exposition of what that thing is, or they don't explain it at all, but we just have to like, all right, we'll have to roll with it. Not only what he does, he just gives you little tidbits in the beginning about what this inversing is, and then as time goes on, you understand more and more without exposition. And speaking of exposition, this might be Nolan's best movie in the sense of the way how he delivers exposition. I mean, like, honestly, whenever we were told, like, what a certain thing was, and it was like a dump of information, it wasn't done where I was like, oh, classic Nolan, but he's work. No, it was like, oh shit, like I think he's at the point where he learned how to like give exposition without making us feel stupid and all over on this whole dump truck. So props to him for that. I thought the way exposition was used was very well made, and it might be his best yet as in delivering information. Another highlight I want to give out is the soundtrack. Oh my god, Ludwig Garrison, yo, there's a lot. The entire score is a fucking banger. Like the entire score can be like a vibe, man. It can be one of those things that you just put in your car and you're just cruising through. I mean, some shit might be too intense because it's like boom, 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 boom. But still, man, the soundtrack was awesome. Particularly the two scores, which I'll say the title, but I won't say where they come out in the movie. The score of the protagonist, oh my god, those guitar strings, man, it's fucking awesome. And then this one called Meeting Neil, where we meet Neil. That's not a spoiler. It's obvious he's supposed to meet Neil in this movie. So, but man, just that score, it was, it felt like the tone within this character. But yeah, it's like the entire album, the entire score of this movie is amazing. I highly recommend you guys should check that out. Another big praise I have to give Nolan is that I can see the action in this movie really clearly. Nolan's had trouble with that in the past with his Batman movies. A little bit of Dunkirk sometimes. Not all the time. So that movie was mostly shot well, but sometimes like I can't see. But yeah, this might be his best in exposition and in action. I could tell what was going on so many times, and I was pretty happy, especially when inversing comes in. That's when it really worked at its core. My final point is that this story is the most Nolan of all his movies. That's the best way to put it. At first, the first third, you're like, okay, I can kind of see where this is going, but where's that Nolan part where we're like, oh, this is a Nolan movie. Yeah, that doesn't come until like the second third of this movie. But I like that. I think that's great. I think that totally works for this spy thriller. Like, you can tell in this movie, he really took his time and he gave it his all. He gave it his all. Not that he has, but you can tell this was the one that, he was very lenient and careful with all his other movies. So there's something special about this one. And no, it's not because we're in a pandemic and he was pushing, he did not take his time for that away. But I mean in the sense that I think this is the most craziest movie, which is why I loved it a lot. And my final positive thing about this movie is that you have to see it twice. Not that you have to, but like, the more you watch it, the more things you get out of. And I think that's amazing. And now for the negatives. You have to see it twice. Not only to get things out of the story, which is not negative, but it's like, it's one of the reasons why you should. But another reason why we should see it twice is because there's a lot of times where you can't really hear what the people are saying. Even though I was in the drive-in, for the most part I could hear what was going on. But sometimes I was like, what? Like, I gotta turn that radio on just a little bit more, and I still couldn't hear what was going on. So next time I see it, I'll probably have subtitles on there just to help me out a bit more. But yeah, the sound can be a little bit can be jarring because you got the music, the action, the dialogue, and it's all at once. And you're like, what can I hear? What are they trying to say? So that's honestly one of the biggest negatives, is specifically the sound. Overall, I think this is Nolan's craziest movie, not his best movie. I still think that goes to Inception, but that or Interstellar, those two. But I think this is the most ambitious and craziest movie, and for the most part, it hits. Does it suck that it's coming out during a pandemic and I had to go see it at a drive-in and not wait a year to go see it at theaters? Yes, of course it does. I would have loved to see this in theaters, but it's probably not gonna happen anytime soon. Overall, I think Nolan just knocks it out again. I can't wait to see what he does next, which probably won't be for a long time. But still, I'm very excited, and I'm gonna have to give this one 8.5 out of 10. All right, guys, that's my thoughts on Christopher Nolan's Tenet. Did you guys see it? What do you guys think about it? Comment down below. Thanks for watching. See you. Gosh, I wonder if I forgot to talk about anything. Huh. Oh, yeah, I should probably tell them not to like see it at a drive-in wait home. It's probably better that way. Actually, let me just do that right now. Time travel back and see if I could go tell them that.
En most mogelijke geweest. De kaart wordt nachten. Maar daar was dus niet scherp. Ja, maar daar heb je ook nog heel veel de reis. Ja, alles dan. Maar dat was niet wacht. Dus het is jij. Oh! Huh? Niet in jouw wacht. Lekker van nog. Oh, schijt.
I should probably go back and fairly sure remind my past self that I should. Welcome to my review of. Should I or? No. That's weird. Gonna travel back. I don't just open.